Movie spoilers have become increasingly problematic for studios over the last 20 years as global internet adoption has skyrocketed and practically everybody has a high-quality camera in their pocket. As a result, it's more difficult than ever for Hollywood to keep a lid on its valuable secrets. To say nothing of the fact that large-scale productions employ thousands of people who can easily spoil the fun by leaking it online. And for the vast majority of high-profile films, it's fair to say that the spoilers are out there weeks or even months ahead of time. As such, it's a truly formidable achievement when major movies manage to actually keep their epic plot twists and majorly unexpected reveals on lock. Whether by employing an honorable crew or flat out taking extreme measures to throw leakers and set spies off the scent. I'm Gareth from WhatCulture.com and here are 10 movie secrets they actually managed to keep before the film started. Number 10. Everyone dies. Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Though the Star Wars sequel trilogy had most of its big rug pulls spoiled weeks, if not months ahead of time, the same wasn't true of the prequel spin-off Rogue One. It's entirely possible that the availability of reliable leaks was hampered by an estimated 40% of the film being reshot. But even so, most fans assumed Rogue One wouldn't offer up too many big surprises. First and foremost, many fans quite understandably believed rumors that the film would be the first in a prospective trilogy of prequels, and so it seemed likely that somehow Jyn Erso and a few of her ragtag teammates would survive their daring heist for the Death Star's plans. After all, it's hardly in Star Wars' wheelhouse to throw characters away after a single movie, and so fans were left absolutely gobsmacked by the movie's bleakly table-clearing everyone dies finale. Despite many assuming that at least Jyn and probably Cassian Andor would make it out intact, they ended up perishing along with everyone else. It was a shockingly ballsy move, and best of all, it was not leaked ahead of time. Number 9. It's a secret unbreakable sequel, Split. Jaws were dropped the world over when M. Night Shyamalan's comeback thriller Split ended with a shock cameo from Bruce Willis as his character David Dunn from Shyamalan's 2000 superhero film Unbreakable. Above all else, it confirmed that both movies existed within the same universe, while setting the stage for a showdown between Dunn and the Horde in a prospective threequel. It might well be the most ingeniously surprising stealth sequel mic drop in cinema history, and that is saying something. And it's all the more impressive considering that Split premiered at Fantastic Fest almost 4 months before it went on general release. Even with social media and spoiler culture being what they are these days, all but the most voracious spoiler addicts had no idea what they were walking into, in part because early festival viewers mostly seem to honor the twist's secrecy and let audiences discover it for themselves. Big respect. Yeah, big respect. Number 8. J.K. Simmons cameo. Spider-Man Far From Home. Talking of leak heavy, it's fair to say that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been forced to get devious in order to prevent big spoilers from making their way online ahead of time, to the extent of even cooking up fake trailer spots that aren't included in the final film. Though fans generally weren't expecting any tectonic reveals from Spider-Man Far From Home, a post-Endgame palate cleanser as it was, it nevertheless left MCU fans hollering with glee when J.K. Simmons J. Jonah Jameson made his MCU debut in the mid-credits scene. The fact that the role was clearly filmed in isolation against a green screen no doubt helped preserve the surprise of Simmons' presence. And let's be honest, even if he did read a rumor or leak about Simmons' role, did you actually believe it? Number 7. John Blake inherits the Batcave. The Dark Knight Rises. Few films this past decade had their secrets guarded more closely than The Dark Knight Rises, which served of course as the bookending chapter in Christopher Nolan's prestige superhero franchise. And though Nolan admittedly did a terrible job of safeguarding the reveal that Miranda Tate was actually Talia al Ghul all along, with photos being leaked online almost a year before release, he did keep his ship watertight where it mattered the most. Indeed, the conclusion to the Dark Knight saga was locked down tightly enough that the film was press screened just days before general release, back before this became a common practice with more recent MCU and Star Wars movies. And so, audiences were left genuinely surprised when Bruce Wayne appeared to sacrifice himself to save Gotham, only to end up faking his death, retiring for a quieter life, and passing the mantle over to John Blake. To prevent set leaks doing the rounds regarding Bruce's death, Nolan had had Christian Bale come to set the day his funeral was being filmed to avoid suspicion, and even had Bruce's gravestone bear the wrong name. Now that is commitment. Given the movie's absolutely colossal scale, it's incredibly impressive that Nolan managed to prevent the final gotcha from spreading like wildfire online pre-release. Number 6. The live-action sequence, the Lego Movie. The fact that the Lego Movie wasn't a soulless exercise in brand extension was enough of a surprise, but in addition to being a great film, it also featured a totally unexpected third act twist. Late in the movie, protagonist Emmett ends up hurled into the infinite abyss of nothingness, which ends up transporting him to the real world of all places. At this point, the film transitions into a live-action segment as the boy playing with Emmett, Finn, squares off against the man upstairs, aka his controlling father, played by Will Ferrell, who also voices the villainous President Business. For starters, the medium shift created an ingenious parallel between the gorgeous animated Lego world and its more tangible, real equivalent. Better still, this surprise subplot gave the movie an unexpected emotional boost, right in the final stretch, serving as both a touching story of father-son bonding and a lively tribute to creativity in general. Brilliantly, the trailers for the movie made no mention of any live-action element whatsoever, making it all the more awesome of a surprise when it turned up totally out of nowhere. Number 5. The Mandarin twist, Iron Man 3. Undeniably one of the most controversial yet best-guarded plot twists in recent memory is Iron Man 3's infamous Mandarin debacle. Despite the marketing hyping up Ben Kingsley as playing a ferocious iteration of Tony Stark's famed nemesis, the Mandarin, in actual fact, fans got bait and switched. Instead, a mid-film reveal confirmed that Kingsley was actually playing a stooge actor named Trevor Slattery, who was employed to take the heat off the real Mandarin, Aldrich Killian. Regardless of what you make of the reveal and its general execution itself, Kevin Feige had this thing locked down like a weapon of mass destruction. The irony of the spoiler being so well kept, however, is that this only aggravated the fanbase more when they sat down to watch the movie, and were surprised to learn they wouldn't be getting a comic-faithful Mandarin adaptation after all. Number 4. Kay isn't Deckard's son, Blade Runner 2049. Warner Brothers' marketing campaign for Blade Runner 2049 was nothing if not ballsy, offering little of a way in for new fans of the franchise, making no clear indication of how big Harrison Ford's role would actually be, and keeping fans largely in the dark about the nature of Ryan Gosling's protagonist, Kay. Only when the review embargo lifted on release week was it even confirmed that Kay was indeed a replicant. Yet the prevailing assumption pre-release had been that Kay would actually be Deckard's son. The genius of Kay's arc in Blade Runner 2049 is that despite the film identifying him as a replicant early on, it spends a huge chunk of its runtime implying that he is also the organically born replicant human son of Deckard and Rachel, despite this ultimately not being the case. In a terrific subversion of the tired chosen one trope, the third act reveals that Kay really was a mere replicant all along, and the child is actually a relatively minor character in Dr. Anna Stellin. Nobody saw this rug pull coming, in large part due to the entire project being shrouded in so much mystery right up to release. Number 3. It's not the end of the series, John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. The end of John Wick Chapter 2 made a pretty emphatic statement that the series would be coming back for one more trilogy-capping entry in which the titular assassin would basically find himself battling the entire world. The marketing for Chapter 3 similarly suggested this was the climax of the 3 movies, and the film's cast also impressively held their tongues when it came to discussing future entries. And so, when fans sat down to watch Chapter 3, only for the movie to end with the plot in flux and another sequel directly set up, there was nothing short of ecstatic surprise. It sure was refreshing to watch a sequel without the knowledge it was already teeing up more movies, and better still, actually be left feeling hyped for said sequel regardless. Number 2. Thanos dies in the first 20 minutes, Avengers Endgame. No film in recent memory has been as obsessively speculated about as Avengers Endgame, and though the film's big time travel conceit was leaked more than a year before release, some of the plot's finer details somehow remain firmly under wraps. As much as many fans expected Tony Stark to die at the end and Cap to maybe return to his original timeline, few could have predicted that Thanos would actually get killed in the movie's first 20 minutes. Though the marketing made it clear that Thanos was Endgame's primary antagonist, the Russos pulled an epic bait and switch by having the present-day Thanos Thanos be decapitated by Thor at the end of the prologue. Despite past Thanos being shown extensively in the film's trailers, most fans had no inkling that they were actually looking at another Thanos, or that the original version would be getting a premature dirt nap in one of the film's opening scenes. That is how you do it, folks. Number 1. Tom Hanks cameo, Borat's subsequent movie film. To give Sacha Baron Cohen complete credit, he did a fantastic job keeping production of his Borat sequel mostly under wraps, until it was officially announced shortly before release. And though the film is absolutely full of surprises, nothing proved quite so unexpected as Tom Hanks making an hilarious cameo appearance in one of the final scenes. Borat 2's big twist reveals that Borat was actually patient zero for the current global health crisis. And so, after heading to Wuhan and coughing on poultry, Borat heads to Australia and meets Tom Hanks, who he also coughs on, seemingly resulting in Hanks' positive diagnosis in March, while he was in the country shooting Baz Luhrmann's new Elvis biopic. Despite only being in the film for a whole 10 seconds in a movie which also has that scene involving Rudy Giuliani, Hanks' cameo was perhaps Borat 2's biggest surprise, and one which somehow did not get spoiled beforehand. And that's our list. Know of any other movie secrets they actually managed to keep before the film started? Let us know all about them in the comment section below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button. Also, be sure to head on over to whatculture.com and click on some more awesome articles just like the one this video is based on. I've been Gareth from whatculture.com. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm sure I'll see you very, very soon.